Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to a very special extra interview of Final Cut. Today, I'm joined by an actress who has been going since 1992. She's a producer, writer, director, and has got so much going on. We're going to try and cram it into this podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jessica Morris.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The honor is mine. So, I suppose the inevitable question is, how did you get started out in acting?
I always wish that I had a more exciting story, like that I got discovered in a Dunkin' Donuts or something. But I just basically, once I decided to be an actor and to pursue that, I drove out from Florida and I just kind of dove in head first. I got, into a class and I got an agent and just started doing it.
Fair enough. Obviously, everyone has influences when they grow up. I mean, my influences growing up were Ridley Scott, James Cameron, inevitably Arnold Schwarzenegger. Nowadays, it tends to be more Chris Nolan, Tom Hardy, maybe even Hans Zimmer, if you like, just for a few examples. So who were your inspirations growing up and who inspires you now?
My inspiration wasn't necessarily a person. It was just the fact that acting is something that I've always, felt most passionate about, and I feel fulfilled when I do it. So I really wanted my life to be about, living it to the fullest and going after my dreams and doing what really makes me happy and not just, having it be like a grind and doing a job that I hated until, so that was mainly my inspiration, was just the kind of life that I wanted and the kind of things that I enjoyed and trying to turn that into a lifestyle.
Which is what everyone should thrive to do.
I agree.
Yep. So for you, what have been your career highlights?
So my highlights, I would say, the first big job that I got on the soap that I was on was a highlight, just because before that I just started for about a year and a half and I'd had a couple little small TV parts, but when I got that, it was a 5-year role and it was a series regular. And I was just really pumped to create a character like that and be in a TV show. And it felt like a big break for me. So that was exciting. I also really liked working with Sean William Scott in Role Models because he was hilarious, and working with director David Wayne was great. He allowed us to improvise a lot, and that was just a blast.
Yeah. Now, I was a big CSI fan back in the day, and you have actually been on CSI New York. So, from your perspective, what was your time like on that series?
It was great. I mean, everyone's very professional. It moves very quickly. So you have to just be ready to go, which, with the soap training that I had, I was, it helps me with more TV roles that I have had after that. So yeah, it was just I remember my role, something happened with me. It's been a while since I did that job, but there was something going on with my husband choking and I had to ask people for help and try to get the Heimlich. And so it was very, kind of situation. Yeah, it was. I couldn't hear anything for a second.
Yeah, so neither could I. Right, I'll move on to the next question. There is a reboot, remake, sequel series coming out based on CSI Vegas. So would you go for it if the opportunity came for you to star in it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if it's a great role for me, it doesn't really matter, which TV show or movie it is. But yeah, I would love to work on one of those. Absolutely.
You're well known for playing the role of Jennifer Rappaport on One Life to Live on ABC. So what was it like being on a long-standing show such as that?
It was just a dream in my character for so many years that I actually she became a part of me. And that has never happened to me before or after, actually, where she became such a huge part of who I was. I guess it was a part of me that, came through the character, then breathed her, which was interesting.
You still there, Jessica?
I'm here.
Yeah, sorry. I thought the connection went again. Sorry about that. I was checking IMDb.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I was checking IMDb when I wrote these questions out, and if this is correct, as far as projects go, you have 4 in pre-production, 3 in post-production, 8 in post-production, and 5 actually complete. So it's fast to say you are a busy woman. So what have you got coming out?
Right now, I have basically 3 different Lifetime movies that will be airing soon. The first one airs on August 27th at 8 p.m. And the other 2 I'm waiting on air dates for. But other than that, I have a horror film that's been a long time coming that's showing screening at Fright Fest in London, I think this week or next week or something like that. So that's basically what I have coming out that I know of.
Well, you're talking to a horror fan, so talk me through this horror movie if you can.
Sure. Yeah, I shot it years ago, and it's a very cool movie about these mutant crabs that are radioactive and get washed up on the shore and basically take over this town and try to kill everybody. And it is done in a very lighthearted way. So there's a lot of blood and scariness, but a lot of humor as well.
So it's a very original idea.
I think so. Yeah. I play a science teacher in it, and I'm trying to help my students fight off these creatures.
As you do.
As you do.
As you do, yeah, in a horror movie. Now you actually have a movie coming out called Danger in the Spotlight. What is it about, and what is your role in it?
Okay, so in this movie, I play Martha, and she is a recovering alcoholic who has just gotten her life back together after spiraling out of control. After losing her young son, she lost her job as a nurse, just became, a raging alcoholic. Basically lost custody of her daughter, and her marriage has crumbled.
Yeah.
But in the process, like the next day, she has a hearing to try to get shared custody of her daughter, and she's been sober, but she blacks out, wakes up, and there's been a car crash, and it seems as though she's been drinking, but she doesn't remember drinking, and the woman in the other car is unconscious. But she decides to flee the scene of the crime because of the hearing the next day. She doesn't want to jeopardize being able to get custody of her daughter, so she takes off, but then finds out that the other driver is a famous ballet dancer and seeks her out and ends up becoming her caretaker at home. And there's many twists and turns that come after that I can't reveal.
That was a nice twist just in the description alone.
Thanks.
And any ideas as to when this will be out?
That one is the one that's coming out August 27th on Lifetime Movie Network at 8 p.m.
So it's 17th today, so only 10 days left, so a week and a half.
So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nice way for the parents to celebrate the kids going back to school in my country.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I also said, you're a producer, writer, and a director. So even though you've not done them as much, would you like to do them more in the future?
Writing and acting are my main interests. I would say, maybe in the future, directing might tickle my fancy, but right now I don't have as much desire to do that. And on the producing end, I've kind of by default ended up as a producer or with a producer credit because of creating and writing projects, but it's not something that I necessarily, kind of delight in at all. It's mainly, I'm a little more introverted. So when I'm diving into like other characters as an actor, I love that. When I'm sitting in front of my laptop, just creating, that's a lot of fun for me. But to go out in the world and try to like get money for projects and coordinate and, be the leader on set, telling everyone what to do. It's not exactly in my comfort zone, but that could change one day.
This changes always goes every day, whether it be good or bad. I hope it's good for you when the time eventually comes for it.
Thank you.
Have you got anything else coming up that you'd like to talk about that we haven't discussed already, or is there anything you'd like to personally promote?
No, I don't think so. It was mainly just that movie that's coming out.
Yep. Right, now the big one. Do you have any social media where people can follow you? Bearing in mind I have Twitter and Instagram ready.
Okay, yes, so I've got the Instagram, Jessica Morris 01, and then I've got Twitter, Jessica A. Morris, and Facebook, Jessica Morris. And that's it.
Aha. Jessica Morris, actress, writer, kotu.com/afternoon live/special guest / Yep. Yep, you have now been followed on Instagram. Let me just do Twitter quickly before we finish.
But back before social media, it would have been so creepy to say that you were following someone, but now it's just totally normal.
It's just normal, isn't it?
Yeah.
There we go, Jessica A. Morris. Yep. And you have been followed on 2 platforms by One Final Cut. And
thank you so much.
And thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time, Jessica. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been great. Have a wonderful day.
And you. And on that, ladies and gentlemen, Jessica Morris.